What up, y'all? I wanted to get at you about there's this question that's always going around, that people are always asking, does narcissist miss you, or do they regret what they've done to you? And I kind of get annoyed by what they speak on some of these psychological channels and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm not a professional, so I'm just going to go ahead and say that. But I would say yes, they do, but not right away. A lot of times when they find new supply, they're going to and they switched over to new supply, you're usually drained of they've already sucked everything out of you. And they have moved on to a new source of supply that they have been working on. They have some new shiny toy to play with, and so they're excited about that, and that's all they were going to think about for a while. I would say that you're probably out of their mind almost completely, and if you're on their mind, it's just because you don't know any better, and you're giving them like that negative supply where you're kind of arguing with them or texting them a bunch of stuff, how I can't believe you did this, or I'm all hurt and I'm crying and I'm going through all these problems and I can't believe you could just walk away. They love that shit. So they'll keep you around for that, and that's negative supply or whatever, and then they'll get the positive supply from the new source supply, and they're going to be getting it from two ends, so they're going to be loving that. But they don't care about you at that point in time. They will, and they will regret what they do most of the time. Sometimes not always, because if you don't heal up and get better and you have nothing to offer, then they'll just feel like they just completely devastated and defeated you. And they'll just be happy with that. They'll never want to come back to you because you have nothing to offer. And they already trashed you, and they already have supremacy over you. A lot of times when they come to people, they want to come in as the one that has no worth. But I mean, of course we give them worth because we don't know any better. But once you find out who they are, they're worthless. But they want to pull you down to their level and get on top of you and destroy all your finances and everything. And you're just completely devastated if they can. And then, leaving. The ones they need the most are the ones they're going to devastate the hardest, or destroy the most, because they're wanting to come back. And while they're gone, they don't want you getting with anybody. So the main source supply, they got to destroy and keep them down. So they're going to be depressed until they come back, and then they're going to be taking them back with open arms, wherever that grade A supply would be. So yeah, but when you start healing and you're healed up and you're happy, this is when they want you. They're not going to tell you this, but this is what they want when they want to come back. This is what they need. This is when they yearn for you. This is when they're craving you. And so, they have some sort of antennas and stuff, man. They have the ability to know when you're getting healed up, and they come at you then. And so you got to be careful about that. But they are going to come at you when you're almost all healed up, is typically when they come back at you. They hit you with some of that love bombing and get you all hooked back in that addiction again. Sometimes they'll tell you they change and all kind of stuff, start acting right for a time. Even if they don't work, they'll have a job. But a lot of times, denial is going to be their greatest weapon, because they can always lie to themselves and rationalize things away. Like, if, for instance, you discarded them, they can, try to find ways to tell themselves that, that you were worthless, or, that whatever, ways to make them feel like they could be on top, and in their crazy thinking. And so, basically, you are the center of the fuel matrix. You are their main source of fuel. You're their generator, man. You're the you got, they have all the plugs hooked up in into that generator, and that's you. And they got that thing running to where it's almost smoking. They pulling so much energy off of it. You're the battery, you know, that they've always wanted, and they're sucking that thing dry. And while they're out having other sources to supply, so they're using you as the centerpiece, you know. You know, you're their anchor, and you know, you take care of the things at the house, and you end up becoming like their parental figure and stuff like that. And then they'll end up cheating on you with other sources of supply, because see, this thing, when they're with you for a long time, and they're able to start sucking that energy on a regular basis while you're helping them fix their finances, get them, you know, right in a job, help them to make good common sense decisions, and get them around people that are their peers and make them look good. Okay, so then they're able to be you know, energetic and going to get out other sources of supply using your energy. So you're fueling the whole thing. And when they're going to get that secondary, tertiary source of supply, you're fueling that too. So that's why they say when you leave the narcissist and you cut off your sources of supply, all of them, you know, you cut your wires, and you shut off your fuel pipes and your flames. They lose those secondaries and tertiaries sometimes, because you know what happens also is they don't know what to do. They get caught up in their confusion, because you were the one that kind of straightened out a lot of their confusion. And if you're real blessed, you're also going to be protecting them from a lot of their karma, or they're reaping what they're sowing, or their reciprocity, because you're blocking a lot of it. I mean, you're going to catch it too, because you know, the narcissist is the destroyer and you're the builder. So you're going to catch it regardless. But I mean, they normally catch it at a high level, because there's nothing but devastation in their past. And so when they're with you, at least they have some good in their life. And because of your goodness, you're going to get less blessings, or no blessings, but you're the narcissist isn't going to get, they're not going to get as cursed, because you're shielding them. And that's why they like having good people with them. But now if they're with another narcissist, they're almost going to be getting double cursed, and that's got to be bad. I don't know what that looks like, but I just know just the curses that I've dealt with from being with the narcissist, and watched, you know, how, you know, my bank account dwindled, how my health went down, how, you know, I felt inside and outside, and how I was acting, and you know, the weight gain, or you know, the lack of energy and the lack of ability to do things. So I can relate. I can only imagine, if there's two of them together, what it's like. Because they just think about how they destroyed you. They destroyed a lot of people in this world like that. I mean, they have a trail of people. Sometimes they're dating 3 or 4 people at a time, because they're whores, man or a woman narcissist, you know, Jezebel, or the effeminate male narcissist, but they're testosterone-filled Jezebel. So that, you know, they're taking all the fruits of your labor, your energy, and they're living off of it. And you've supplied them, been their main support system the whole time. And then, like I said, they come out and they discard you. You know, and it's like, yo, like, I supplied you. You know, they be talking about, hey, I'm on top, and we lit, but you only lit because I lit your ass up. That's my flame you're burning. You know? So, you know, they end up pushing you too far. Sometimes, a lot of times, I mean, with this last one, I've always discarded myself. I mean, because I can't go down that. I mean, I've been down that road, though, because I spent 10 years with a borderline, and she took me down the road of, as really, to levels that I will never refuse to go to again. But on this last one, I had better boundaries, but they were still subpar. And sometimes when you like somebody, you'll give them a little bit more of an out, and I did that a little too much. But I also got caught up in that in the beginning of that love bombing phase. Like I said, you knock the red flags are coming at you, but you're getting love bombed so much that, you know, you're like, how could this person not like me? I mean, you kind of gaslight yourself, and you didn't know anything about narcissism. And so the red flags they're showing up, but the way they're acting, it's kind of like, you know, they seem like they're benevolent. And so you just kind of keep going with it. If they weren't love bombing you, you would be checking all those red flags. And that's where they get you kind of quickly, and they move quickly and get you addicted into that trauma bond. Once they get you addicted, then you've also invested time in them, and you gotten to know them, and, you know, you've given them your love, and now you're addicted. So they got you kind of on lock. And that's why they do that. But you're their complete support system. You're like the Red Cross, man, like the little Red Cross bus that you see where people is giving blood. Hey, can you give a pint of blood? We'll give you a t-shirt. Well, you be showing up like the Red Cross bus, you know, to the narcissists, you know, every damn day, giving them packs of blood, because they need to survive, and they can only survive when they have people like us. And but yeah, they'll push you so far, it's like you just get to a point to where you'll just get rid of yourself, man. And then when you do that, and if they pushed you way too far, and you've had enough, man, you just get to a point to where it's like, I ain't coming back, man. And they'll be like, oh, that's okay, yeah, you'll be back. Or, you know, I'm gonna come scoop you up. I'm gonna swoop you up. I'm gonna pick you up in the 87 Cutlass, you know, whenever I feel like it, you know, that kind of thing. Ain't just kidding. But yeah, they'll be like ready to they'll tell you that too. Shit, you're gonna come out. You're gonna come with me when I come call for you. And but then you don't, and they're shocked. And from there, you know, they might carry on. They'll give you a couple of emails where they're kind of nasty, but not really nasty, where they're kind of like checking you a little bit, but they got to be on reserve. They got to watch what they say now, because look, they don't got you like they had you. But you gotta be careful too, because they can pull you in still from there. And they'll go away for a little while. But you know what? You know when the narcissist's really hungry for you is when you see them flying monkeys start coming around. Whenever the flying monkeys come around, then you know it's like the narcissist sent them out. And if you turn down the flying monkeys, the narcissist is coming around next in person, because you probably got them blocked everywhere. But yeah, that's kind of what happens, man. And they do a lot of that intermittent reinforcement, man. And you just had enough of it, man. It wears you out to the point to where you're like, this is ridiculous. You say you're dumb, you're out, you're done, you're out, and you ain't coming back. And you know, you sacrificed so much, man, that it's like ridiculous. You just can't do anymore. I mean, you were the complete support system, and I mean, they'll a lot of times discard you because they're bored, and you know, you're wore out or whatever, and they'll have another source of supply that they think looks all awesome, but you know, they could be, you know, it could turn into a fling, just a one night stand, or a couple weeks long, and then, you know, after that lust is over, it's like now they're like, now it's like, it's kind of like this. It's like whenever you would lust for something and then you got satisfied on it, what would happen? Sometimes if you made a bad decision, then you'd kind of regret that. Like, why did I do that shit, man? I had this, and man, I let that shit get ahead of me, you know? I think we could all say we've dealt with that before. And so, that's how the narcissist gets. If it turns into a fling, they're not going to be long-term, or they end up button heads, or they end up being a fluke or a lie or another narcissist that they didn't know was. I mean, they'd be playing each other, anything. But if they threw create a source of supply under the bus, and they just beat their ass down verbally, and that grade A had that was it, man. They're done. I mean, they got to go find another grade A supply, man. And they don't come around every day. They got to find somebody that is empathic like that, they got to target them. They got to research them. They got to go somehow try to get to know them and see if they can get them to go out on a date with them. Then they got to see if they're going to be like, they want to get somebody that mirrors you. So that's what they start looking for. That is not easy. It's not easy to find. I mean, sometimes they do have two, but it's not very common. A lot of times they had these little, like, you know, partial people they'll see. Like desperate people, they just know they could screw around with them whenever they want because the narcissist is out of their league. Like they're real low hanging fruit. And or they're other narcissists, and they can only do so much with that. But yeah, so then they miss your supply, right? And you're the fuel. So at some point, and if you're not coming back to them, man, they got to find a source, a grade A source supply that's better than you, that trumps you, so to speak, or a grade A supply that's equal to you, or else they'll never get over you. But they'll keep an eye on you, and they will miss you. They'll miss your provision. They'll miss your prosperity. They'll miss because when you're not with them, you're gonna be doing well. And you're like I said, you're the blessed one, and they're gonna be getting that karma just from being away from you. They have no common sense. They need you for common sense. They just get hungry for you, man. That low vibration, man, and that's the kind of people they get with low hanging fruit, because they're at a low vibration, and low vibration hangs out with low vibration typically. And so that's the way things are going to go for them. And they make a lot of rash decisions. They're impulsive. So, they go with their lust, they get satisfied, and then they regret it the next day, or whenever, but they can't just come back to you because they have full of pride and ego, and, they can't, they don't want to look thirsty, and have to apologize because they can't do that. They almost can't do it. So they have to kind of go around you or get you to interact with them, sometimes by causing problems, or baiting you. But are they hurt? Or do they miss you? They miss you. Yeah, they miss. This is how they miss you. They can say that you're like a damn refrigerator or some shit. Then they'll say they're object, that they look at you as objects. But I'll say this is where they miss you. If they miss your spirit, they miss your sweet spirit, your essence. They miss your comfort, your love. They miss your the house that you put over their head, the money you put in your pocket, the all the things that you cared for them. You bought them gifts. You did a lot of good things for them too, man. Like, just, you held them. You truly cared for them. Now, they will, and I think at a lot of times they can get that negative energy easier than they can get that positive energy, because they hang out with so many negative people in general, and they could always spark that up anywhere. But to get that love, I think that's what's harder for them to find. And so they need that. I mean, you can't live without that. And when you don't feel love, I believe even if they don't need the love, the body needs love. But I'm not saying they're not going to abuse it, but I'm saying that they miss that. They miss that. They need that. And they regret that they left that, and they can't wait to get it back. And I'm not saying that they treat it right. I'm not saying that they're not maladaptive with it, or they don't treat it like they probably treat it like they hate it in a lot of ways. But if you think about it, when somebody hates themselves, then you can't treat them good. They're going to kind of act in some ways like they kind of hate you, because that's all they know, right? They're mirroring themselves. And when you treat them good, a lot of times they think like you're faking with them, because why would you do that? I'm hateful and I hate you, in a sense, you know what I mean? So it's like, when you treat them bad, that's why usually they treat you with respect or treat you better. So something to think about. And I'm not saying I'm completely right, but I'm not completely wrong either. because if they're missing your essence and they're missing your spirit and they're missing your character and they're missing everything that you do around your way, then they're missing you. They're missing your ass. Yeah, they make stupid decisions. I mean, they got a demonic entity in them that is senselessness, right? I mean, and you got a 4-year-old kid in there that's like immature, and then they're going against God's construct, so that's senselessness, and they're following after the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. So of course they're going to make a bunch of dumb decisions. There's nothing good in there that's going to make a good decision, but it doesn't mean that at the end of the day they don't regret shit that they do, because dumb people regret shit every day that they can't control. So I just hate that the textbooks and these psychotherapists will like to always throw this jargon in there that like we're kind of insignificant is kind of what they make us. And I know that they miss us, because when I would break up mine, man, she couldn't stop talking about me and how she wished, why wouldn't I talk to her? Why can't she get me back? And why is she ruminating on me every single day? Because her flying monkeys would tell me all the damn time. You know, I mean, day after day after day after day of sadness. So it's I call bullshit on that. And you're not going to find that everything in the textbook is going to be like all truth, man, because like I said, you know, you can there's stuff in science that's all wrong. It's just whatever narrative they're pushing, and they find a way to put a construct around it that makes it sound good, and everybody just believes it, because if few scientists wrote it and the world says it's right, it's going to be right. You know, God could tell you you're on a flat earth, but if Satan and NASA tell you that it's round and you flying 67,000 miles an hour, you're going to believe it, because science and NASA told you, and Satan. But the fact of the matter is that the earth's flat and you're on pillars, and you know, you're in a snow globe and there's water above the snow globe. That's why the sky is blue. But on to this. So don't believe every textbook you read, please. And your history is written by just a few guys the last 2,000 years. It's ridiculous. Yeah, so this is just my opinion. They miss your love, your spirit, your place, your character, your comfort. And yes, they like to do evil things, you know, and they want to do it and feel good about doing it. The only way they could do evil things and feel good about doing it is if they have like an empath or a super empath with them, in my opinion. I mean, at least that's about the best way it's going to go down for them. But that's where, you know, they want to have their cake and eat it too, right? I mean, at some point, you know, there's a wake-up call for them, where they're like, they know that they made stupid ideas and stupid decisions. It's like they just they would rather just wait for you to come back and hoover yourself, versus like, you know, having them you know, go over to you. They're not going to come to you a lot of times and apologize and ask you to come back. I mean, but it will make them second guess themselves if you don't give them any of your time, and it continues for a long road, because now you've taken your power back, whether they discarded you or not, because you're recovered. You know, at this point, hypothetical, we're talking about you have recovered. You're happy, you've changed up your energy, you're doing different things, and they don't know how to get at you, because normally that's why they stalk you too. I mean, it's like they want to know how they can get at you, so they got to kind of like see what you're up to, see what your likes and dislikes are. Normally they would be with you on the daily so that they knew how to treat you, they knew how to manipulate you. But when you haven't been around, you ain't talking to them no more, and you got them blocked everywhere, I mean, they don't know what to do. And it makes them real uneasy. They don't like that. And they like complete control too. So, and they'll crave you, man. And I mean, they'll be thinking like also that you may start to talk to someone else, or they'll be afraid of someone else taking you away from them, and they gotta have you. You're supposedly their property, and they want you to be alone and all banged up until they come back to you. That's why they beat the grade A supply down so bad. But when you don't care anymore, that's when they're scared, because at that point, they're starting to lose you forever. Because if they're insignificant to you, and they know that, and they can feel it, because in the spirit realm, man, they have the ability to feel these types of things and feel how strong that trauma bond is. But when you start feeling like that, and you start being like, you're insignificant to me, you also start seeing how tacky they are. That the way that they live and operate is childish. It's tacky, and it has no class. And you'll start seeing that curse is falling off you, and that spell is falling. And you're not going to be thirsty. They're going to be thirsty. Now they're thirsty, and they're going to be ruminating. You're not ruminating. Now they're ruminating. And when you reject them, like a lot of times they would reject you, but it causes obsession in them, and it irritates them. They don't know what to do. I mean, they're just really screwed up. You got all this energy, man. You're on full. I mean, they're going to miss you, because you even made them look cool. I mean, you made them look put together, man. And they don't look put together. They look all disheveled now. But when you were with them on a daily basis, that energy that you were giving them on the daily, and that comfort and that security and those hugs and that loving and all of that snuggling and good truth talk and good care, real truth, real honesty and all that, man, that right there made them walk with pride, man. You pumped them up, and that's why they discarded you. Because when you pump up a narcissist too much, then they're like, they think they could take out the world without you, like they did it themselves, but they didn't. And that's where they're stupid. And it's like they're a drug addict, man. When they get high when they're with you for a long time, and then they discard you, and then they get low, and they're like in the gutter, like they're that fiend with no drugs. Then they got to come back. Can I come back? So yeah, I mean, you're the plug, man. You're the plug. And so, like, I think that, like, science says this about them and us, that we're a refrigerator, because they want to make the empath seem insignificant, and the narcissist feel like they're wearing the pants. And they're not. It's the opposite. And they don't look at you like a refrigerator. You look like them. I mean, really. I mean, we both look like humans. How can you look at me like a complete refrigerator? I get like they may treat you like that sometimes, but that's not how they are. And if you had a rich dad, man, you're going to be like, yo, you loving me now, huh? When you want that money again, and you let you go dead broke. But no, it's like, it's kind of like this too. It's like, when you, they just have no love, but there's a saying, it's like, if you have no love, then you have no peace. But if you know love, then you will know peace. So, and I thought that was kind of neat. It's true. But they can't get supply without you, I mean, a lot of people, secondary, tertiary supplies, these ones they thought were going to be grade A's for them. I mean, they weren't, they're not at the caliber you are. They can't do what you can do. I mean, they didn't grow up in the family you grew up in. Not that we think it's all that great. We didn't. But the fact of the matter is, it happened, and we are able to support these people. We have the ability to support it. And they just can't do it. It's going to take them a long time to figure that shit out. And it's not a good job to have, but we don't necessarily like it, but it has become something that we are good at. And we don't want the job. I'm just saying, do they miss you? And that was my point, because I'm tired of these people saying that you're just nothing but, a refrigerator. But your good character goes a long way with them, because they have such shit character that you cover for them, you make them look good, and you build them up around all of their peers. But yeah, as the rejection, it builds obsession, and that's where you're leveling up 10 times over, and they can't handle it. But this is where you don't want them back. You're not taking them back, but they think they can get you back. And now they're screwed. Now that's where they're really beat up. You know, and they like a lot of supply around them, because this is what makes them not have to go in introspect or whatever they call it, and go inside. You know, they only go inside when they have no supply, and that's why they're always running around getting supply. But you were legit, man, and they'll remember that, and they destroy everything. So I'm not saying it's a good thing, but they can't have their cake and eat it too, but they always think they can. And that's what they try to do when they have the empath or the super empath as their main hub. They want you to give you that goodness, and then they want to go out and create all the havoc so they can have their cake and eat it too. And they do that for a time. It makes them feel real powerful until you're gone. And so they want to do the bad thing in a good environment. That's my humble opinion of it. So do they miss you or regret what they did because they lost your ass? Yes. Do they miss you? Yes. If they miss your character, your spirit, and your time, and your love, and your comfort, and your care, you best believe, and you make them look good, man, I'll tell you what, boy, people that pull into the damn supermarket, they cannot drive or park. I don't know what it is. Anytime I go to the grocery store, these fools, crazy. Anyway, give me a thumbs up, a like, and a subscription. Love y'all. Be blessed. Stand tall, soldier up. Peace out. Love y'all.